Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is gonna be all about my personal top 5 picks in this game, as in like the 5 best champions in Marvel Contest of Champions in my opinion. So everything I do say in this video you can take with a grain of salt. That is clearly just my personal opinion, and I'll be trying to explain why I came to these conclusions as best as I can. So first of all, I already made a video on the first pick. That is why we're going from first to fifth. I do believe that Quake is the best champion in the game, just mainly about the fact that she completely bypasses most of the in-game mechanics. She doesn't have to deal with opponents' special attacks, opponents' abilities. She can switch out many nodes, and overall, in my personal experience, as I have been tackling hard content, Quake has pretty much always been the MVP in Variant 1, in Variant 2, in 6.1. Any single fight that I find troublesome or I think it's going to be hard or require some really specific counter, typically for me kind of gets handled by Quake. And the versatility this champion has, I don't think anything else comes close to it in the game. The only other champion that can tackle similar amount of nodes is Ghost, but I still think Quake kind of takes the upper hand, mainly just because the difficulty level of using Quake never really changes. Once you learn how to use this champion, the hardest fight is going to be just as easy as kind of like your medium average fight. I made a video kind of explaining that and showing several examples of it a couple days ago, so if you are interested why I value Quake so highly, you can go and check out that video. But anyways, that's going to be it for my top pick today. So number 1 is Quake for me, by far my favorite and I think most treasured champion in the game. And then we're gonna head down to second place, and in second place I would rank in Corvus Glaive. Now I do know that there are many people kind of split in faction between Corvus and Ghost, and there's Camp Corvus and there's Camp Ghost, and honestly I do love both champions. I think Ghost is a lot more satisfying champion to play with. It's just a lot more smooth, a lot more kind of like elegant. Ghost can do some things Corvus can, but the same goes other way around. Corvus can do some things Ghost can't. But the reason why I'm taking Corvus to the second place is just his sheer kind of ability to make content easy. Wherever Corvus appears and wherever he can be useful, it is a really easy time for you to clear the content without any kind of special troubles or difficulties. The best example for Corvus is AQ, whether it's map 5, 6 or 7. Granted, I haven't played 5 or 6 in a while, but in map 7 Corvus absolutely shines, just because when you run him with suicides, that healing at the beginning of the fight does offer a lot to him, especially with that cheat death mechanic. Once he is awakened, saves you so many times, so many potions, and even if the worst should happen, even if you happen to die, Corvus is one of those champions you can just toss in a revive on, and that's it. You do not need to waste any potions or anything of the sort. Also, the sheer amount of utility Corvus provides is just insane, and now with his shock immunity, not taking any damage from bleed, his power drain on level 2 is really useful when you're trying to be aggressive. Unblockable level 2. Synergizes great with boost and cosmic power boost, and that just kind of like puts him in a class of his own, I think, in a sense. But yeah, anyways, Corvus, he's in number 2 just because he does a lot and he does it effortlessly. To build him up, when you run Corvus maxed out in uncollected difficulty quest, it pretty much feels like heroic. And he's really good in AW, really good in AQ, good defender as well, even though that's not what I'm looking at the moment. But yeah, Corvus deserves, in my eyes, spot number 2, just because of the lower skill cap. And yeah, so next champion I'm going to be placing in my top 3. Where is my top 3? I think my Ghost 5 stars in IQ, so I'm going to be using my 4-star Ghost there. So yeah, my 5-star Ghost is in IQ. Anyways, Ghost I do think is the 3rd best champion in the game, just because the amount of versatility Ghost possesses is absolutely insane. The fact that she can convert all damaging debuffs into furies is like one of the best mechanics by itself in a game, I do believe. And then the phasing mechanic that offers you extremely easy ins on opponents, so you do not need to rely on parry or any other techniques. You can just kind of like phase through stuff and punish opponent. as well as when she's duped, she gains power quickly. Her damage output is absolutely insane. You can basically make sure that you can play Ghost in a manner that opponents can't ever evade any of your hits. That's super useful as well. However, Ghost does have a higher skill cap than Corvus. That's why I kind of like rank Corvus above, as well as the fact that Ghost really does need those synergies more than Corvus does. And typically you're going to want at least Wasp in your corner when you're running Ghost, if not Wasp and Hood. And yeah, I think Ghost can do more things than Corvus can, and I think Ghost is more versatile. I also do think that yeah, you need to dedicate more of your team to her, and I do think that when things go wrong, she isn't like a very forgiving champion. She is a glass cannon by definition. She doesn't have any regen, she doesn't have any durability, she doesn't have any cheat death like Corvus does, and that's why I let Corvus upstage her, because she's awesome. I love her. She's by far the most satisfying champion to me to play, but unfortunately for her, yeah, she just has too many kind of like downsides and reliances. Anyway, so let's move on to my personal pick of number 4 spot. My number 4 spot is also stuck in a queue at the moment, so I'm gonna have to use 4-star for it, and that is Omega Red. I think Omega Red is also pretty much standing ahead above the rest of the competition in the content, just because of how quickly he can dish out damage. He heals, he's great with suicides, great versatility. You can play him in several different ways. You can deal a lot of damage by hardly touching opponent. Also, the fact that he can bypass like all those shrug off abilities is something quite new and quite really pleasant to deal with. He can bypass Magic's limbo damage with his tentacle hits, Korg's damage back with his tentacle hits, Electros, and so on and so forth. There are several different ways how to play Omega Red. He can dish out some insane damage, especially in short and burster fights, as he's one of those champions that actually heal with suicides as well. Therefore, suicides are perfect to run with him. He's still great without suicides and can dish a great amount of damage. And he's just like really solid workhorse kind of champion all around. And I do like hold Omega Red in really high regard whenever it comes to any kind of like new piece of content. He's always one of my go-to options as well, just because yeah, full poison immunity, ability to heal from bleeds, great damage output, decent amount of utility as well. So yeah, I think he's very well deserving of the top 4 spot. And last one, last champion, I was really struggling to figure out my 5th one, just because I think these 4 champions are pretty much head and shoulders above the rest of the competition. And there are many other good champions, like, I don't know, Captain America Infinity War, Void, Stark Spider-Man, Cull Obsidian, Blade, Magic, and there are many great champions in the game, but they're all kind of lacking and do not offer as much as these top 4 do, I believe anyways. But then the 5th champion, I decided to give the 5th champion spot to, where is he? To Aegon. Just because Aegon is a ramp up champion. If Aegon is ramped up to a huge combo, he is the best champion in the game. But however, it does take a while to ramp him up, and that's not the easiest thing to do. However, lately he has been proving himself more and more useful. It's not just the fact that he's great for LoL. He's the best for Labyrinth of Legends by leaps and bounds. He is the only champion in game that can do every single Labyrinth fight, I believe. I don't think there's anybody else that can fight well against every single opponent in Labyrinth. But the problem is the ramp up time, and that kind of gets annoying. However, the more I kind of like played with him, once he gets like 150 combo, which isn't too hard to do, he's already showing some great performance. And he's just a champion that's increasing his value the more difficult content is coming out right about now. We had 6.1 where he was absolutely shining. How all sorts of challenges where Aegon is just proving himself to be more and more useful, and I think he's one of those champions that is already in really high regard, but he's gonna come extremely handy for future content. One of my favorite abilities for Aegon, aside from damage output, is the fact that he can shrug off all the debuffs, and I think that's extremely important, and that is more or less kind of like a common theme in my top 5, that these champions offer not just only damage or versatility, they also offer ways to get past debuffs. Like Corvus Glaive is bleed and shock, and his cheat death mechanic can play around pretty much any damage over time debuff. So long as you don't get hit, you're not gonna die. Ghost can convert any damage over time debuff into furies, which is awesome. Omega Red, poison immunity, can heal off from bleed. That's great stuff there. Aegon can shrug off every single bit of debuff there is. And Quake might not necessarily have any immunities, but due to the fact that she doesn't have to strike the opponent, she often just kind of like bypasses her getting the debuff in the first place. Yeah, and I think that is gonna more or less conclude my top 5 list. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know what you guys would change about it. And if you are interested in me making a separate video about any of the top 5 champions, please do let me know, because I have made one for Quake, and that means there are still one for Corvus, Ghost, Omega, and Aegon available. If you wish to see that, just let me know and I'll do my best to record all of them. But yeah, that's going to be about it in today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do feel free to hit that like button, share button, subscribe button, hit all the buttons. And I'm going to see you guys back here soon, hopefully. So yeah.